We'd like to welcome you here this evening or this morning or this afternoon or whatever time it is where you are. We're going to be looking at the second in the series of 15 Revelation teachings. And this is the world before the law. And Randall Hargrave has done this. This will be probably one of the shorter or easier of the sessions, as there wasn't a lot of content to it. And he didn't make a lot of comments that really warranted a whole lot of response. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. In the COGR, it seems to be evident that the Roman papal system is something that Ray really appreciates. Basically, I remember him saying something to the effect of that they had the right system, but the wrong person was sitting on the throne. So they're always looking for ways to show that there needs to be control from the top. And what Randall teaching here is going to be picked up again and again in the course of the series, because there needs to be a respect for that kind of leadership, that kingly leadership that they propose.
Yes, and they say that the papacy, that's what they had right, was the seat. But as you said, they said they had the wrong person sitting on it. They then say that Protestantism threw away the person on the seat and the seat with it. And that was their mistake. They should have kept the seat, kept the throne.
Yeah.
So they've now put themselves on that throne to exert their authority.
Yeah. So Randall wants to build a case then for a totalitarian leadership, which they believe is modeled on God's commands.
For those who don't believe in modern day apostles, and we're not going to talk about that, then I wonder, how can your congregation keep from being subsumed by the dragon? If there are no foundations, we have people talking and they're saying, look to Jesus, and I believe in looking to Jesus, but I don't believe that Jesus is alone. Even when he walked the shores of Galilee, he was not alone. He had his disciples with him. And so it's extremely important that we understand and that we get on the correct side of the correct prophetically correct entity that has not been taken in by the spirit of the dragon.
That's a mouthful.
Here again is that's them saying you need to find yourself in prophecy, because they claim they found themselves prophetically.
Yeah, and that the book of Revelation is written primarily about them, and basically Christianity is centered around them.
Yes.
So I got it, but it isn't Jesus alone. And every time that you get a group that starts vying to put somebody in Jesus's place, that really gets to be an issue.
Yes, and I know last session we got together, I mentioned that they weren't the mediator. Of course, Jesus is the mediator between us and God, but the COGR apostles are attempting to put themselves in the place of a mediator between us and Jesus, or us and God, whatever they're trying to do with that, claiming to be Jesus here in the flesh, and by touching him, we're touching Jesus, touching God. They're trying to put themselves in that position of mediator.
So Jesus came, he had a number of disciples. Those disciples became his apostles. And those apostles remained when he ascended to be with the Father. But when they ascended, they never referred to themselves as saviors. They never assumed control for themselves. They always referred people to Jesus. So they perform miracles, which I might note that the COGR does not. They demonstrated the legitimacy of their ministry, which the COGR cannot. But in all of that, they were his apostles, his disciples, but they did not become the center of the ministry. They were a group of people pointing instead to Christ, and calling people to him.
This is where the COGR differs by pointing people instead of to Jesus, they point them to Ray Tinsman.
Mhm.
They refer to themselves as our saviors. This concludes our video. Thank you for joining us. The resource slides go by rather quickly for sake of time. You may wish to pause on them to read them. There is a link in the description box to the Google Classroom where you will find the resources for this video.
Disappointment is a bitter pill to swallow, paying back the hope I borrowed from someone I never knew. And it's a forfeit, humans in the suits of heroes, undressed by whispered conspiracies in quest for truth. But if the truth is what you're looking for, you don't get to choose the answers anymore. So tell me, do you really still believe that the truth will set you